Welcome to cinematic symbolisms, where we break down the symbols of cinema. Sit back and enjoy the show.
I'm trying to do a little bit of MK Ultra of my own, making these catchy tunes, you know? So, welcome to the newest show from the cave called Cinematic Symbolisms. All right. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yo, these claps be getting long now. I feel like they're trolling us, bro.
It's authentic, dog.
Damn. Well,
You guys can hear me fine, right?
yeah. You sound good.
Yeah.
I know. Sometimes it could be a troll though. If you just fucking just clap, you know, out of nowhere, just fucking while you're trying to make a point.
Bruh.
Yeah, it could be sarcastic.
You know what I'm saying? Zach would know. WWE fans, they do that shit. What? They do that shit. What?
What?
So, welcome to Cinematic Symbolisms, where obviously we break down the symbolisms in cinema. And I think we decided we're not going to limit it to movies. We're going to break down some shows too, some YouTube films, some short films. There's some pretty badass YouTube films out there. But before we begin, make sure you guys follow us at The Cave on all social media platforms and check out the website cave.com. That's k4v3.com. We got Feel the Burn, we got Q, and we got Proper. What's up, guys? How you doing?
What up?
Feeling, man?
Killing it.
Shit. So Under the Silver Lake, I felt like we were talking was the most appropriate movie to start the show off with. But a couple movies we're going to break down later on to just kind of tease the project before we dive in. The Matrix is obviously going to be in there. Animatrix. Actually, we're going to save Animatrix for occult anime. Terminator. I feel like all the Stanley Kubrick movies should be broken down by us too. What else you guys have in mind?
Some stuff like on the comedic side would be nice too. Just, you know, to keep things fresh.
Yeah, comedies would be dope.
Have you seen Being John Malkovich?
No.
Damn. Okay, let's add that to the list, man. Let's add that list. So let's get started. Under the Silver Lake. What do you guys think of it?
It's a good mind trip. You know, it kind of just knowing that what drew me in was the fact that it's they actually hired a cryptologist to help with a lot of the cryptic messages in the movie.
Shit.
Just to learn about that, and he actually did some work. I forgot his name, but that guy actually did some work on the Zodiac Killer stuff. So the fact that he put some stuff in here kind of already put in my mindset like I need to look for these hidden symbols and signs in this movie, which I did, and I'll talk about later. I know you kind of have things that you want to talk about, but the one that I kind of had written down, and I actually even Googled late last night after I watched it, was the Copiali cipher, which was just a little background. It was a cipher that was just solved not too long ago. I think like 2010, 2009. I could be a little wrong. I could be a little off, but it was a cipher that was just recently solved. And the fact that they had this reference, it caught my eye in one of the scenes. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look into this. And this is definitely a movie you need to see more than once. You can't just watch it and say like, oh, I got all of it. It's not, because after watching it last night, I said, you know, I was even telling, you know, Bea, I was like, there's more to this movie and we missed it, you know? So, but after one go, it definitely has a lot that you're going to want to keep a lookout for. But yeah, so that's kind of what caught my eye in the first watch. So that's what I have.
Yeah, for me is like I started watching. So when I started it, I had to pause at basically where the love interest disappears. and and that's where I stopped. So like for like at least like 2 hours, and so I did not expect what the movie was going to be after that point, because it totally takes like a totally different dive, in my opinion, as to what the movie's like in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but overall, it was a lot better than I was expected. Like at first, I was like, "This is kind of a weird movie," and it is weird, but it's really interesting. Just like Proper was mentioning, there's so many hidden messages in it, and it's definitely something you have to watch multiple times to even just get like half of like those messages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I definitely feel like this is going to be a film that we potentially revisit, down the line with this series. Like we're going to do like a rewatch of this. The first things that stood out, and on the pre-show when we were behind the scenes, I mentioned that I didn't realize it was A24, and that like I was like, okay, this is going to be out there. This is going to be kind of a trip, because all their movies are very unique nowadays. So I appreciate those styles. Yeah, I went into this blind, just based on the stuff that we got in our
Me too.
in our chat, and gotta say this is gonna have to be one that I am gonna learn a lot on this pod, because there's definitely some stuff. Obviously, I'm not the conspiracy guru of the group. I'm like probably the least versed in conspiracy theories, but it definitely had me on a little run there. It was a nice little modern day like detective movie, and I'm a big fan of Andrew Garfield, so I was definitely interested from jump.
The Spider-Man references were cool too.
A lot of them, right?
Dude, that was
a ton
nuts.
of them, bro.
Yeah.
A ton of them. Yeah, well, and I feel like this is one of his best breakthrough roles. Like I said, I think it's better than Hacksaw Ridge was for him.
Dang, better than Hacksaw. I liked Hacksaw Ridge, but I can see why you like this one better.
I actually really like
this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
I really like when I see well-known like comic book superhero actors when they're doing other stuff like that. Like obviously, I enjoy them playing the superheroes, but like, and I think I was talking about this the other day, but he might actually be my favorite Spider-Man. So to see him in like a completely different movie, like just different, like Social Network was cool to have him in that, but like I think that was before he did Spider-Man. But now to see him after this, and it was like when Robert Downey Jr. I think he did Tropic Thunder after Iron Man, right?
Yeah, after Iron Man.
And it was
1.
like, it was dope to see him. Like, all right, now what else is he acting in? So, I always kind of geek out when I see our comic book heroes in different movies.
Some say too that this movie was a reflection of his career, Andrew Garfield, but we'll get into that. First of all, before we get into the movie too, the poster had a lot of symbolisms that I didn't even know. The poster where she's diving in, there's bubbles and shit.
I didn't even see that.
Let me pull this up.
I didn't notice that.
Right here. So Andrew Garfield's face is in it, apparently. That pirate, that sketchy pirate. The word sex, like Lion King, and the band Jesus and the Bride of Vampires or whatever the fuck.
What a band name, yeah. The Brides.
Yeah. Jesus and
the Brides of Dracula.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Jesus and the Bride of Dracula. But I think it's got some elements of Shutter Island where,
okay,
is Garfield tripping out? You know what I mean? Is he doing everything? Did he kill the author? Is he?
that.
I actually think he's the dog killer.
Yeah.
I read that also.
There's a lot of clues that kind of hint towards that. But the cool thing about this movie is there's a whole like cult like following behind this movie. They're always coming up with theories and shit.
Hey, so a lot of the questions that we have, it was purposeful, right? Like there wasn't answers to these things.
Yeah,
I feel like that was super intentional.
Yeah, and that's actually what the director I think said, that he intended it to be that way, where he didn't want to give any answers, and basically you come up with your own conclusions and let your imagination run wild.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
the quote was, "The film is a mystery, and there are mysteries inside of that mystery, and some of the characters could be considered mysteries themselves. Will I explain any of them? No." And I think
Hell
that's something I mentioned with where I feel like art is at its peak when the audience are projecting more of their consciousness onto it. You know what I mean? Almost like
Yeah.
a silver screen. Interesting. Damn.
Like an art
I mean,
life, right?
like, that's how we generate discussion and dialogue, right? Is you generate and you provoke different viewpoints, assessing the art that you're looking at, whether it be pictures or movies or even literature. Like, I feel like we're in a society now where we enjoy being spoon fed and we want to be like told what's going on, and like when we want to be told when it's going on. So that's where I when I asked that, I was hoping that was intentional from the director. So that's perfect. Like I said, I went into this blind, so I feel like I'm going to be learning a lot of the stuff I missed too, even while watching the movie.
Yeah. That's one thing I liked a lot too, is that it's so different from all the the Disney type movies where it's always a happy ending and it's so conclusive. Just like Feel the Burn said, that you're spoon fed everything. It's the movie's super artistic, and I really like that about it.
I think that's why it's also spoon fed to you, because it's trying to promote that thinking instead of just being an audience member just watching the movie for what it is to provoke thought and to provoke like, hey, we gave you this, what do you think? And you kind of it kind of shifts your mindset in the movie into like, this is more than just a story. There's a hidden message in this, and that's what I like. I actually like watching movies like this. And another movie I want to bring up, just a side note, is called Conspiracy. It'd be cool to watch and have a discussion on here at some point. So this movie kind of gave me a lot of those vibes from that movie. So it was very fun to enjoy because, you could watch a movie and just be sitting there like, okay, that was cool. The plot was cool. But to actually feel like you're engaged with the plot and to like try and crack it is another part of the movie that I enjoy.
Yeah, man. It's got a noir detective vibe,
It does. And it
I like the
does a lot
soundtrack,
of,
right? The soundtrack helped out too.
yeah, it does a lot. Yeah, the soundtrack gives like this very eerie, like Alfred Hitchcock vibe. And I remember when he's watching the movie and then they step off from the headstone, it said Hitchcock. I was like, of course, there it is. It's Hitchcock. And then all the movie posters in his house is like these old posters. I was like it's very Hitchcock in a modern way. And like you said, modern noir. So I really appreciated that for the movie.
Yo, so did they consult the Zodiac before the movie, or the Zodiac code decoder before the movie to make the shit? Yeah,
the cryptologist. So I don't know much. I just kind of looked up because there's so much cryptic stuff in this. So what I read was they actually hired this cryptologist who worked on helping deciphering the Zodiac killer stuff. So he pretty much brought an element to make sure that the cryptic messages in this movie were authentic and not just like a director putting random characters on the wall and saying, hey, that's cryptic, So anyone who's into like cryptology and all that would look at this movie and appreciate it because they're using stuff that real cryptic messages would have.
Damn. So it makes you kind of borderline schizo because, it's a little bit of fiction mixed with fact. So everything's kind of murked. So you don't know what's real or not. Kind of like the movie.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you're living in the mind of Andrew Garfield in that movie because you're watching the movie. It's like, is this guy hallucinating or is he living in like? Because a lot of times I'm watching this movie, it's like, dude, this could be a lot of things, or this could be just a guy who's said he'd rather just be going through a conspiracy rather than looking for a fucking job.
yeah, there's that too. So in the beginning, he's in the coffee shop, right? Yeah. And you see the sign that says "Beware the dog killer," but you're seeing it from the vantage point of the screen. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is like the movie aspect, which is the theme that's kind of reiterated in the movie. But it's interesting because they say that Sam is a dog killer, but they also say that Sam is a symbol for a dog because he's always chasing tail and exploring and trying to solve something. You know what I mean? And again, him growing up in the era where he was playing video games shaped that mentality where he was trying to solve things and he felt like he was getting rewarded, right?
Yeah.
But before we get into the crazy stuff, let's get into the Spider-Man stuff, right? The gum on the car door is why he got the sticky hands, and after he took it off, he went in that Spider-Man pose, you know?
Yeah.
But after that, he fucking just beat up some kids. Which, this is the first question I wanted to ask you guys. If that happened, like, you guys swinging or what? How do you guys regulate and correct that behavior? If you know what I'm saying, if that happens.
I'm not going to swing on some kids. I'm not trying to go to jail, but I mean, I'm definitely not going to let them get away with it either. You know,
might do a judo takedown. You know,
yeah. But that
I think the egg in the mouth was more than enough. What he did, I was like, but damn, he starts. It was not just one punch; it was a couple of them too. So.
Yeah. But speaking on like the similarities to Spider-Man, I didn't notice this until way later. I read something that pointed it out, but his landlord looks like God, I always forget that guy's name, but the guy that Peter Parker, Jameson, the guy that Peter Parker works for.
Yo, that's funny because
it's very similar.
I didn't even put together the fact that he also has landlord issues, just like Spider-Man does. Damn.
Yeah. And he's always wearing red, and there's a lot of red and blue in this movie.
Yes.
You know, that's one thing I noticed. And I was like, so it's like Spider-Man when he retired, I guess. You can.
No, it's not actually, bro. It's Spider-Man, but he didn't get signed for the third movie. He's the only Spider-Man that didn't get a third movie, so it's almost like he's a failed actor, right?
Uh-huh.
Not yet, at least.
Is that why there's a lot of references? You guys noticed that, right? A lot of references to number 3 in this movie.
Oh yeah, there was. There's actually a quote where he goes into the movie or into the party where they say 333, and then the Trinity of brides. Jesus' brides. He had 3 brides. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of the party, it reminds me of Eyes Wide Shut. I feel like this is kind of like an indirect sequel or indirect inspiration of that movie, you know?
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're shouting it out in the movie.
Again, absolutely. Spider-Man reference before we hop off the Spider-Man references. Topher Grace was in the movie. Venom.
Yeah, so random.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which might be a spoiler alert too for the third movie, because if Garfield gets the Venom symbiote, because I heard they're trying to get a Spider-Man in the third Venom movie.
Yeah, from Hardy, right?
Right, and supposedly Sydney Sweeney wants to play Mary Jane in that one.
Damn.
No, I'm just
Black
fucking
Cat,
with
bro.
you.
Black Cat.
I'm just fucking with you. That's not true. I don't know that.
I'd be down.
That's not true.
One more thing, bro. One more thing is eventually, obviously, the chick ends up going to the Ascension Chamber, right? So he technically doesn't save her because at the end, he's like, you hardly know me. You know, why are you trying to save me? Like, you went through this crazy journey to try to save me, but you barely even know me. So I'm saying that because he didn't save the chick, right? Which is like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, because he didn't save Gwen Stacy.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
It's crazy.
That's hilarious.
And it's not a stretch because he did have a scene where he had the Spider-Man comic in his hand and he couldn't get it off his hand because of the gum, right? Again, clouding real shit with fiction. So it's fucking crazy just with the Spider-Man references. But before the movie started, there was a barrage of symbols of animals, right? It was a unicorn, a tiger, a snake, and a lion. And the first letters of all those animals is UTSL, which was under the Silver Lakes. They're already hitting you with codes from the get, you know?
Right.
And then the shirt that they were wearing with a bunch of like circles and logos of animals, it was a bear, a walrus, an alligator, a raccoon, a dog, an ostrich, a giraffe, a koala, an iguana, a lion, and a raccoon, which if you break down the code, it's BWAR, beware, DOG, dog, KLR, killer. So it's fucking crazy, bro. And I think there's also a shirt that he wears with the game Jungle Hunt, and the game is supposed to be this guy saving a woman from like these cannibalistic men, you know. So I looked at that Janet Gaynor movie because she was obviously like referred to a lot, but I guess the reference is that movie Seventh Heaven is about just men saving women, you know what I mean, and that kind of MK Ultra of, you know, just kind of hopeless romantic type shit, you know what I mean, which isn't bad. I feel it's kind of like simp kind of ish, you know what I mean, and I feel like that's not too bad. But when you're doing that to actresses or people that you don't even know, you know what I mean, I feel like it's a good reflection of people that are like crying when celebrities die that don't even, you know what I mean, don't even care about them type shit. So I thought that was interesting. So the women at the parties too, when they, you know, he goes to the party later on. I talked about the Eyes Wide Shut shit. She was holding cherries, and you know, you take the pin and you pop the balloon, right? And that's when he was kind of following the lead to try to find the band. So he thought that the band was like a lead to something deeper, because I don't know if it was after that was revealed that there was codes and songs, right?
Yeah, and then remember he went to Jesus, and beat his ass up in the bathroom while he was taking a shit. And then he had like he sounded like such a bitch. Like, I didn't write these songs.
Yeah. It's called. So that movie, well, also that was alluding to orgies, but they didn't really show the orgies because it's like popping the cherry. You know what I mean? You pop the balloon. Yeah. Pretty good way to do it. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, let's talk about the backmasking songs real quick, man. So again, you know what I mean? Real shit mixed with fiction. Do you guys believe in that shit? The backmasking songs with satanic messages and shit?
You mean like when you play it backwards and whatnot?
Yeah.
I don't feel like they were intentional in the sense of being harmful. I think sometimes people were just trying to have fun with music back in the day.
You think some of them were kind of trolling?
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I can't imagine writing off everyone as saying that they have some satanic connection. Not everyone. I'm sure there are some, but I think there's a lot of people who said, "Oh, that's cool. Let's fuck with it," and just made it on purpose. Well, there's people out there who's really doing it and trying to put out a message.
Yeah.
So I pulled up a list of backmask songs or backmask messages from Wikipedia. So Ash, their song Evil Eye, the message is, "She's giving me the evil eye, suck Satan's cock." And their comments are, "Yeah, we did hide a secret message in Evil Eye, but it's not that bad." And then this other song, At the Drive-In it's 300 millihertz by At the Drive-In. "Your enamel made no reflection in our mirror, coffin up the coffins, cotton candy coated teeth. These pockets were clenching, all filled with teeth. Amnesia prolariat in the unlikely event. The sarcasm is an unfitting." Damn, that's a lot of fucking shit in a backmask song. Amnesia proliterate, amnesia proliterate, amnesia. Well, actually, it's kind of crazy because they do use songs to break people down and like, you know, torture.
Like for torture? Yeah.
Yeah, and torture chambers and shit. So the fact that amnesia is coded into a backmask song is pretty deep programming, you know?
Yeah.
The Beatles is in here. Bloodhound Gang. Dope ass fucking band. Coldplay.
Coldplay.
Yeah. Coldplay, Music of the Spheres. 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Music of Spheres. Remember, everyone is an alien somewhere. The comments are, each line is individually reversed and placed in reverse order as to say, everyone is an alien somewhere. Remember, spheres of the music. Welcome to Ladies and Gentlemen.
Isn't Stairway to Heaven, isn't that one too?
That was the most famous. Yeah, I think that was the most famous one. Right?
Yeah, if you play it backwards, it sounds like a ritual or something.
Yeah, I don't. I'm pretty sure that's going to come up. But some rappers that are mentioned is Missy Elliott, Work It. I put my thing down.
I still don't know the words to this day.
Of what she say?
Yeah. No. Like, I mean, that was a joke. Obviously, trying to know the lyrics of that song, and that was the one part I never understood because it's a fucking backmask.
Incubus is in here. Nelly Furtado, Eminem, obviously. That guy sold his soul for a show. Kendrick Lamar, Euphoria. Everything they say about me is true. Said in the beginning of the song.
Oh yeah.
Linkin Park, Pushing Me Away. Announcement Service Public. Listen to this one. The backmask message in Announcement Service Public is: you should brush your teeth and you should wash your hands.
That's
the only lyric to this interlude heard once at around 25 to 35 seconds and 4 times, a minute 45 to end. The title is reversed because you have to reverse a song to get message from it. So what this is leading to is some like intricate art of backmasking that's accepted in this universe in the movie, right? And then you factor in the songwriter. What do you guys think of the songwriter?
Are we talking about the songwriter in the movie? The one he bashed his head in?
Yeah, who fucking was just playing all the classics and said, I fucking wrote this shit.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at that as more of like they're trying to convey that he's, especially when they're showing him with the keys, like the puppeteer kind of,
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of vibe I got from him, showing that, I control this shit, like the music, saying that your generation is because of me, and kind of alluding to the fact that, all of your shit was done in my hands and it's in your life now, kind of in a sinister way, if we're supposed to look at it that way. It could be sinister, or it could be just this guy said, I'm going to make fucking music. But I guess what it came to is like, remember, he was asking like, well, who made you write those songs? Who paid you to do it? And that's the question that he didn't get to until he fucking bashed his face in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting because if we go back to the homeless king told him that, you got to follow the coyote.
Right.
And in the songwriter's lair or whatever, he had a stuffed coyote, which to him validates that he's at the right spot. But I think he was a symbol for the devil, because the devil's supposed to be, you know what I mean? Lucifer's supposed to be the worship leader or whatever the fuck. But I think I said this before on another show. I think it's more frequency magic, and I think the pitchfork is actually a tuning fork, So he's using frequency magic, whether it's 440 hertz, whether it's backmasked messages, or it's, you know what I mean, chords put together activate certain some kind of fucking frequency harmony in you, you know what I mean? But it's interesting because he played Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, and that was written in 1824. So that's almost alluding to the fact that he's fucking ancient, and he looked fucking ancient,
Mm-hmm.
And since they mentioned Jesus and the Bride of Dracula's, I feel like that's the inverse of the devil. So you're already getting Jesus. Why wouldn't you get his counterpart, So another interesting thing in that scene is he was looking directly at the camera, which, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of playing 4D chess on some Deadpool shit, you know what I mean?
Talking to us, fourth wall break.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, this movie is filled with symbolisms, right? And a lot of people need to, like us, we got to rewatch it. And then the more we rewatch it, the more we realize that we missed a bunch of shit that might have been fucking crucial if we had it in the beginning. So we got to kind of recheck our theories and, you know what I mean, kind of break some of them. But the guy also revealed that the codes weren't meant for the common man, right? It was encrypted for the initiates to understand, and the common man or the common woman was just supposed to hear it and dance to it or sing to it. So it's pretty crazy, bro. That shit was fucking nuts to me. And then it leads to the homeless king. What do you guys think of the homeless king?
He reminded me of the king from Recess.
Yeah, he kind of did look like it, right? So
That whole path was crazy, though.
The fact that he cracked it, and I was kind of expecting him to just be crazy and then like just sitting under Newton, and nothing was going to happen. Then lo and behold, the homeless king comes out, and I was like, oh shit, okay, this is getting interesting. Now he comes out, blindfolds him, and brings him into the bomb shelter, and obviously that's what leads into fucking going to the songwriter again, saying like, what the fuck was that for? What is there a war that's coming that we don't know? And he's like, I don't know. The fact that he's so nonchalant about when he was being questioned was like very, very telling for me too. Like, yeah, this guy knows, but he's not telling you because he'd rather you just keep fucking trying to figure it out,
I think the homeless thing is interesting because like it's hobos, it's not bums, And if you look up the definition of hobos, it's a migrant worker in the United States, which is kind of relevant right now. And I didn't even know that, first of all, the codes in the movie were actually based off of hobo codes, right? If you guys looked into that. I don't know if the cryptologist kind of led him towards that, but
it had to have been intentional.
There's a distinctive difference between hobos and bums, because I guess the hobo term was created around the Depression era. And it was just people that are out there trying to get jobs, the fact that they didn't have money, so they would hitch rides, not even hitch rides, just jump up on trains, jump up on trucks. And obviously because of that, they were always ridiculed. So to talk to each other, they would write in codes, and it was less like graffiti art, but more like low key hashtags and shit. Interesting thing is hashtags too. Hashtag was the symbol for a prison for hobo code. Hobos
prison?
And bums, man. What's up?
Right.
You said it was a symbol for prison?
Because you said
for prison.
The cryptologist. A nice Easter egg that I saw was that you remember the 3 dolls that they had, and underneath had like name tags. Underneath it was actually he used symbols that the Zodiac killer used in his cryptograms.
Damn, yeah.
Oh,
I heard
Jeez.
that shit translates into something too. I took note.
They
of
do,
that.
and that's why like when I talk about the Copiali cipher, it all ties into that, which is why like this is why like I was like I like this movie, because when I saw that reference, I was like, oh shit, it makes you like turn the movie forward, backwards, things like that.
So yeah, that one right there.
Oh shit! There's a code. It's like a
It's
whole
a
fucking
fucking-
alphabet.
Yeah, bro. These guys. It's
That's
literally
dope.
hieroglyphics, bro. It's hieroglyphics.
Yeah. Hoboglyphics. Dude, that's tight, dude.
I'm trying to fucking pull up the hashtag one. Okay, that hashtag right here. Crime committed here, not safe. So it's like a hot spot. So who knows, bro? What if the hashtag is based off that shit, But the keep quiet symbol was obviously alluded to a lot. And then where's the 3-1? There was a 3-1 that said not safe here. So I don't know. I saw this movie or this documentary called Dark Days or Dark Times, where it talks about like the homeless people that ended up settling in abandoned subway tunnels. And like a lot of their stories were, I just was planning to come down here for a week, but I have free electricity, free water.
Yeah.
So I've been here for like 3 years now.
Insane.
And dog, their quality of living, bro. Some of them have their own pads, their own places that they've built from like, harvesting just scrap materials from just kind of journeying. And some of them, like, they're like, hey, make sure you take your shoes off before you come in.
Right.
So like, I feel like it's a psyop to think that, first of all, like homeless people are just all one demographic. Because I do think if we're going to talk about MK Ultra, there's a lot of sleeper agents disguised as homeless people. A lot of military people are homeless, So there's a lot of programming that goes into the military, a la boot camp, and then just how long you've been there. And if you end up homeless, then they could just kind of switch something, you know what I mean? Whether it's like some kind of song, again, going back to the songwriter, or some kind of frequency, pitchfork, like the devil, right? But yeah, the symbolism in the hobo code's crazy. And some say that the hobo king was who Andrew Garfield was eventually going to be, you know, because he was eventually going to get evicted. And I don't know, he's just kind of getting lost. And he probably tapped into an underground community where he could possibly be, this is scary now, he could possibly be the pirate who was, you could say, the one trafficking the girls for this cult, right? So the shit's crazy,
but I mean,
bro.
they didn't.
That's wild.
I mean, I guess it didn't seem like they needed to be convinced too much to like. I don't know. I mean, they don't really go into detail as far as how those women got there specifically, like each of their stories. But I mean,
well, the common thing was when he first met Sarah was they were supposed to hook up, and then she was like, "You want to smoke?" And so they left the room, right? And then that's when he first ran into the pirate dude. The pirate dude, one eye was like obviously Illuminati type shit, right? That's what I think. But it could also mean that he's stealing people. Pirates kind of just steal, right? And I feel like the pirate was the first sign of validation for him, because when he was following the chicks, you know, when they were in the boat, it clicked when the pirate came out of nowhere and took the package of the chick that ended up disappearing, right?
Yeah. But it was planned, though. I mean, I guess you could say he's like a recruiter more than anything.
Well, that's how they get you. Apparently in Hollywood, they try to get you through modeling agencies. Jeffrey Epstein was tied in with Victoria's Secret, you know? And then Harvey Weinstein with the entertainment industry. And think about who's going down in those bunkers. It's interesting that they painted the bunkers as actual like tombs, right?
Yeah.
Now it makes you kind of trip out about these elites buying bunkers and underground properties and shit. Because it's less of a disaster thing. It's more of like a spiritual ascension type shit. Just fucking crazy.
Right. Like they're not trying to escape something. They're just like, or protect themselves from anything. That is their escape.
And they're all old men, bro. And they're all older men, right? So there's also that symbolism. And I guess it goes back to Janet Gaynor, because Janet Gaynor, she was apparently forced into acting by her stepfather. So it's almost like the guys ruling the world, and almost, I don't know. I feel like they have a perfect setup in order to recruit females. So it's more of a recruitment process rather than a trafficking process now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So which is happening in Hollywood. And it's funny because I think, like I said, the Hobo King ends up becoming Andrew Garfield, and it's going to tie it back into Spider-Man. If Andrew Garfield ends up becoming the Hobo King, Andrew Garfield, obviously, even though he fucking smelled like a skunk when he got hit with the skunk, even though he's homeless, he's still getting bitches, man. And so he might also be the pirate. It might go Garfield, pirate, and then the homeless king that lead to, you know, the elites. And if that ends up happening, Spider-Man has the webs to web them up. Right?
You can clean up the streets.
That was kind of a stretch, you know, but
keep his ear to the ground.
Sometimes you got to wear stretchy pants, man.
It's for fun. No, but that is like a real like life imitating art, or art imitating life, like thematic element too. That's
it's a lot of it, and I feel like it's enough to make you go crazy. Another thing was before I get off Sarah, someone pointed this out. Sam and Sarah make samsara, and you know that's the cycle of life. That Buddhist theory of, you know, you die and you kind of get reincarnated back into this realm, and it was almost like a symbolism for Andrew Garfield seeing Sarah as his way out of samsara. You know, that's why he was so hooked into trying to get with her. So there was that symbolism too. Again, everything's filled with symbolism within symbolism. And Dog, there's Morse code in this motherfucker too. So if you know Morse code, I'm pretty sure your spider senses were tingling, which is another fucking.
The fireworks.
I know.
Yeah, the fireworks. I guess the fireworks in Morse code was "I ascend now," which is like calling her to the ascension chambers. That's why she disappeared right away.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. I go back and watch this, dude. The fuck?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely deserves a rewatch for sure.
Yeah, man. And then the Owl's Kiss. Obviously, there's that whole tie into the Bohemian Grove, which there are elites that do these like rituals and shit. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Try to get into the Zodiac thing. Do you guys have anything on the Zodiac stuff? Jermaine?
Yeah. I got the Copiali effect if you guys are interested in kind of learning about that, what I saw in this movie. I've actually, when I get home, I'm going to watch it again because there's more stuff I want to see in this movie. Because ever since I saw that, I was honestly going back and forth in the movie. So kind of just talking about the beginning and where this reference comes from. Remember when they were talking about Sevens? Was it Jefferson Sevens who was missing? Right?
Yeah.
On the news channel, not the first one where he's banging that chick and the news thing comes on. There was another part where it said he was still missing. And on the bottom right, there was a ticker. And what stood out to me was like it said, Copiali graffiti discovered, right? And when you read that, it says it was discovered in. Remember when he was tripping out and he ate that whole cookie and he went to the restroom to throw up?
Yeah.
That was badass. That's a cool ass invitation, by the way.
Yeah, and then on the wall you see
You gotta
on
eat
one side
the edible, bro.
drawn on the wall, but on the other side is actually a cryptic code. And when I kind of looked it up, it actually meant coffee menu, right? So then you had to go to the beginning of the movie where the coffee menu was like you're talking about the coffee menu, and if you look underneath the coffee menu, there's Morse code right underneath the coffee menu. And so when you look that up, the Morse code translated to XJVO OJRY, which I thought meant orgy for a second, XERSW. And when you look into that, remember when he goes to that guy's house, the conspiracy guy with all the cameras in his house and shit, the one that supposedly killed himself. Remember, it kind of shows you glimpses of the walls and all that. And it kind of paused on a wall where there's these letters across the wall, right? And when you use that, you can use that apparently, and it translates to what, like WHATTHRE words, like what 3 words. But obviously, it's missing an E, right? But when you watch the movie, remember the billboard that says, "I can see clearly now"? Remember that billboard? Mm-hmm. On the bottom left of that billboard, it says E equals EE. So when you plug that back into that cryptic message where it says what TRE words, it means what 3 words. And this is what Jerizi was getting into about those 3 dolls with the 3 words. What's funny is, remember when he sees the hobo sign, the 3 dash lines? I think that's a hobo sign.
Not safe or whatever.
Yeah. They look like the Velociraptor Jurassic Park 3 sign.
Yeah.
So that's actually like, it's a similar sign to a company logo that means what 3 words. And when you look that up and you keep going, it leads you to apparently the 3 dolls that's next to the TV, or on the TV set. There's 3 dolls on there with their name tags underneath, and it has the 3 name tags with the zodiac. And if you translate that, apparently it means tombstone, sheriff, and entries. And all words were recognized by what 3 words. And now here's where apparently you're supposed to decipher it. It kind of breaks down into like this whole thing. Tombstones could be a substitute for wells, which is etched into that one tombstone that says wells on it. Do you remember that?
Oh,
and the next word, Barnes, was actually on the name of the sheriff. It says Barnes. Remember the sheriff that was evicting him?
Yeah.
So now that's the 3 words. The 3 words so far is what? Tombstone, sheriff, and entries. So the tombstone was Wells or Hitchcock. And then sheriff was the person evicting him. And the name tag said Barnes. And as for entries, that's the one that even people online are still trying to figure out what the fuck does that mean? Where does that word plug into this movie? And there's like people trying to figure out in this movie where this last word is trying to give you a sign to. And
Oh shit!
that's why I kind of want to watch it tonight again and kind of scroll back. So if you guys are into this whole cryptology shit, I suggest you guys look up the what 3 words cryptology in this movie. And
Yeah, what 3 words is actually a website where you plug in 3 words and it shoots out coordinates.
yeah.
And so
Yeah, so I was actually going to get to that, which is cool. Yeah. So when you do that, it yeah, there you go.
Here, let me pull it up right now. There you go. But it's kind of sketchy, you know what I mean? So let me show you this, and we'll sign off with this one, man. So people, again, like you guys just watched it, but people have fucking like spent years. This is from 2019, breaking this down. So
Holy shit.
near the end of Under the Silver Lake has her line, always look up. So this guy looked it up, and what it led to was her death was a car accident when she was in a Luxor taxi in Vegas.
Oh.
And so look at this. Pyramid on the left, drinking wine in the background. Wine's going to be really important, but there's a pyramid in the left, and you go to Luxor, there's a pyramid, obviously. And there's a Sphinx. And in this Andrew Garfield shot, there's a Sphinx on the right side. Mirror back on the left wall is a match for this mountain vineyard in Saratoga, California. You see that symbol right there. And then these locations make sense because this guy just did what Sam did in the movie, and he did that to try to find the final man in the hut. So look at the coordinates that he got. It lines up perfectly. And this is where it gets interesting. So the coordinates, this line lines up perfectly with the copial daw coordinate as midpoint. And it lines up to Mountain Vineyard, which is owned by Mount Eden Vineyards and Domain Eden. If you look closely, Domain Eden, underneath it is Sam's Trail or Sam Trail. Where if you look up Sam's Trail, it looks like there's a fucking, oh shit, what the fuck is that shit? Fucking hole. Might have more tunnels, sewer drains like this one. So the quote, I'll be sealed in a tomb with my beautiful brides and with all worldly possessions. And as we're going to have delicious meals and wine and television and sex. Note the imagery here in the background, upside down peace sign right here. Upside down peace sign. Owl statue right here. And then swastika right over there in the middle, kind of right there. This is where it gets fucking deep, bro. And we'll end it over here. And it with a mystery. So
This is going to be a 2-parter, guys.
Oh my! See, we're gonna have to revisit this. I knew it.
it was a upside down peace sign with a swastika. In fact, the inverted man rune and figured encircled in the common sign, which the communist tells us means peace, has for centuries been a favorite sign of Satanists. Anton LaVey, the founder of Church of Satan, used the peace symbol as backdrop for his altar. So I guess we could tie in the songwriter to be a Satanist. But look at this. Wine Spectator, the Lady of Mouton, Philip de Rothschild has built an empire in Bordeaux and beyond. So now we're getting to real fucking people with, look at that, a satanic neck piece over here. I'm just going to go fast forward, bro.
This movie's giving us all the details.
Yeah, this is crazy.
They found Mount Eden, Eden Vineyard. You get into the owls, obviously Moloch, you know what I mean? And it gets into cults, which you could tie into Bohemian Grove, which has Luciferians in it. And I guess they're trying to tie this into, and if you are aware, there's a ton of underground tunnels in vineyards.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much fast forward, it gets into stuff. It gets into what I was talking about Weinstein and stuff.
Oh,
it gets into Nexum, which used CIA developed mind control techniques and branded the victims they sex traffic.
Damn.
So
That's
I don't
so
know,
deep.
man. I think it's crazy. Andrew Garfield is saving the fucking universe. He's the fucking greatest Spider-Man, I think, bro. Because I feel like this is shit that gets people off in the industry. You know, a la Stanley Kubrick. So, shit's crazy, bro. Cinematic symbolism.
Is it a coincidence then
got
that
the
like
guys from the cave.
this was the director, like he was a highly regarded director or whatever going into this movie, and people like all of a sudden started hating on him because of this movie? Like, is that a coincidence then too? Because of possibly how much
Could be more than
it's trying to-
coincidence.
Yeah, right. But it's rubbing
Yeah.
people the wrong way,
Yeah.
but for the right reasons.
That's something we
Yeah.
talk about on the Cave podcast, which you can find on all all platforms. Follow us at the Cave. Check us out at cave.com. That's cave4v3.com. Peace out, everyone. Cinematic symbolisms. Peace.
All right.
Next time.
Peace, guys.